Life is just a reoccurring system of injustices. I'd like to ride a dinosaur. Tough luck, you don't get that. Board games can definitely help us cope with those injustices by taking us away from reality. But even in our escapism in this hobby, injustices still occur. I would really love to play Dinosaur Island. Oh, we can't do that, it's too heavy, I can't get it to the table. How about the Great Dinosaur Rush? Yeah, we played that last week, and besides, the child wants to play this time. Oh, okay, well, in that case, how about Dinos Not Assembled? Now look, please don't read into that as some sort of derailment for my excitement for Dinos Not Assembled. But go forward knowing that I'm delving into this review with the very real fact that this is a game geared for younger children. Dinos Not Assembled has players racing to be the first to complete 3 dinosaur skeletons to place in their museum. Designed by Dawson Kemper and Alice Davis, on a player's turn, they can draw 2 of the 4 tiles from the supply, which is then replenished after their turn. They can clear the available bones to refresh the supply. They can draw another dinosaur recipe card. They can turn in a dinosaur recipe card, trading in the necessary tiles to complete the recipe. This allows them to place one of the 3 skeletons into their museum. Or they can steal a bone from someone else's dig site. Players can never have more than 4 bone tiles or 3 dinosaur recipe cards. In a 3+ player game, the same player can't be stolen from again until another player is targeted. And once a bone is stolen, it's flipped over and can't be stolen again. Look, this is a kid's game through and through. And as such, there's certain expectations that I'm going to have for a decent kids game. And those expectations are it's going to be simpler to learn, easy to set up, and just all around easy to teach. And because of that, I'm not even going to address those as a positive or negative. That's just sort of the base necessity that you need to have in this type of game in this day and age. But they will be alluded to in other aspects. For instance, my first con is that because of the limited choices that you have, the decisions that you have to make can be a little bit less than interesting sometimes. And all I mean by that is that the right choice is going to become apparent. And speaking of a parent, if you are a parent and you're playing against your child, it's going to be easier for you to know what the correct choice to make is. And if you're playing with a much younger kid, it might not be so cut and dry for them. There's also the stealing of the dinosaur bones. It's a real take that element, something that initially turned me off when reading the rules to this game. But the concept of being able to take bones from someone else and bring them into your own can be misconstrued as meanness. And while I think it's a valuable tool in teaching your child that you're not always going to win, that people can and will target you in these types of games, depending on the age of the child you're playing with, they could take this the wrong way. Now, granted, my 3, almost 4-year-old, he's definitely younger. He's definitely on the younger spectrum of someone that should be playing this game, but it was simple enough. But he had a very hard time with the idea of me taking the dinosaur bones from his dig site, which I did because I have to win. I mean, you don't get as rough and tough as I do without a strict father figure. I mean, I want him to be just as rough and tough as I am. Even more so. I don't want him crying in the remake of Anne of Green Gables, because that's my greatest shame. So yes, taking those dinosaur bones, while strategically important, can, depending on the child, be a con, and it's something to be aware of. Now, pros. Jeff Willis did a fantastic job with the artwork for this game. It is immediately appealing. This is a game that as soon as it was open, my son saw it and wanted to play, like, instantly. And a big draw to that is, 1, the dinosaur theme, and 2, that dinosaur theme is presented so well and so vibrantly. In addition to that, there's custom meeples for everything, so every dinosaur that you can make, you can accurately present in your museum. And like it or not, as I've said before, the look and the feel of the game, that's important, especially in a kid's game. If it's not pretty, like, kids don't overlook, a kid's not going to look at the castles of Burgundy and think, oh, that's, you know, it's not the prettiest thing to look at, but mechanically it's pretty sound. That's not, you're not going to get something like that with a 5, 6, 7, or 8-year-old kid. Generally speaking, I'm generalizing everything. I generalize everything. I'm generalizing. Look, on the surface level, this is a very simple game. And I said I wasn't going to go into that too much, and I won't. But yes, I can quickly explain the game within a matter of minutes. That being said, there's a level of strategy that only shows itself the more you play it. And while not incredibly deep, it's more than I was expecting. Sure, this is a game that I play with kids. It's also a game that I've played without kids. And I'll get into that more later. But suffice it to say, the strategy in the game with how and when to steal different bones, when to take certain actions is important and only becomes apparent with the more that you play it. And I think it lays a really good groundwork for children learning strategy games. In particular, I thought that the white elephant exchange rule was really, really good. The idea that, sure, yeah, you can do the take that aspect at any point on your turn. You can steal a bone from someone. But once it's stolen, even just once, you flip that tile and it's no longer available. Another thing that I thought was really cool, and I'm getting more into this with my son, is that even, if you leave the strategy out, if you leave the competition out mostly, it's a great groundwork for introducing mechanisms and gameplay and ideas to a much younger crowd. My son's almost 4 years old, and with a little bit of guiding, telling him what his options were on his turn, he was able to make decisions for himself. And sure, he got very upset about the stealing aspect of the game. He did not like that at all, except that when he saw me steal a bone from his mother, he had no problem stealing from me, but told me I was not allowed to do so to either him or Shannon. So there's that. So I guess vengeance is kind of his thing, which is a little bit concerning. Look, the long and the short of it is simply this. This is a pretty solid kids game. I'd say it's in the upper tier of children's games that I played. Is it something I'm going to pull out at every game night? Something I'm going to pull out amongst friends? No. I'd sooner play something like the Great Dinosaur Rush than I would Dinos Not Assembled when I'm playing with my peers. That being said, as a dad of a kid that's almost 4 years old that currently loves to play board games, yeah, I'll take this over Candyland, which we also play frequently. I'll take this over most of the games that he wants to play. And I think that's sort of the hallmark of a really good children's game. When it's a game that you can spend time bonding with your kids, when you can take time to play at their level while also being entertained and being interested yourself. I took this game to Terminal City Tabletop Con this weekend and had a chance to play it with adults. I played it without a kid in sight. And everyone at the table had a really good time. So if you're interested in something like that, if you're looking for a kids game that you can play with your children, that you can introduce to younger kids, this is it. Dinos Not Assembled is something well worth looking into, if not for the production value alone, for the opportunity to introduce these types of games to another generation.
Well, I lost.
What did you like about Dinos Not Assembled?
Well, I lost. Well, you win. I just want to win.
So, Bruce, what did you like best about Dinos Not Assembled?
Well, somebody with me, and I was crying, and somebody was winning me. It was Daddy.
Who do you like? What do you like about Dinos Not Assembled? Did you like it?
Yeah, this is Dino Not Assembled, so I lost.
Do you like it?
Yeah, and I lost.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
The Triceratops.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say about Dinos Not Assembled?
How about I want to say...
Don't touch that. What do you want to say?
I want to say, so are you speedy? Dinos Not Assembled. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Wave.